What's going on, guys? Fan Entertainment from Lv1gaming.com. And today we have something a little bit different. As you guys know, we do like to go into the gaming community and we like to find different games we think look absolutely amazing. And we reach out to the developers and like to sit down and have a talk with them. Today is actually a really awesome video for you guys because we got to talk with the people from Volunteer Ascension. As you guys know, I did an article about it just recently, and I absolutely fell in love with the visual style of the game. Got to be able to play the game, and we want to talk about more of what the game is about, more about the studio. I do have with me my sister, the Floor Hugger. What's going on, sis?
Not much, guys. I am so excited. You guys know I love doing these small dev interviews. Not that the big devs aren't cool and all that. Shout out to AJ from Delilah Studios. But sometimes talking to the small guys that are just like us is where it's at.
And I do want to have our guests an opportunity to introduce themselves. We have Paulo. If you could introduce yourself, who you are, and what you are currently doing at the Volunteer Ascension.
All right, I'm Paulo Miguel Cabe. I'm the producer of Volunteer the Ascension. I'm the project manager of the Winter Crew team, which is behind Volunteer the Ascension. And I'm here today with Stephen Manolastas, CEO of CMD Studios.
And like you said, we do have Mr. Stephen here. Here we go. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Me? That's me?
Yes.
So hi, I'm Stephen, and I'm like Paul said, I'm the founder of CMD Studios. Currently acting art director for the game, also doing the level design of the game.
So that's an interesting take right there, Stephen. I didn't realize how many hats you wore. So you not only are you the CEO, you are really like in the day-to-day operations.
Probably most of my after our work shift, this is what I do next.
Because most CEOs get to sit back. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty small, so I guess this is the kind of indie do all the time. We wear different hats, so and we're having fun doing this. So it's actually
Also, sorry. Sorry to interject. Volunteer the Ascension is really Stephen's baby. Like, I'll admit I wasn't in the game. I actually came in, development was already starting, and I was just blown away by the passion of the passion and the work they've already did when I came in. So like Stephen explained, indies here in the Philippines, because we're such small teams, we tend to wear many hats. Like he said, he's the level designer. On top of being the CEO of the CMD Studios, because it's not the only project we actually do over at CMD Studios, but it is our first wholly in-studio built game project. So on top of the daily operations, he actually puts time to make level designs for the game, and he really looks over every aspect of the game. Actually, he's like really in our day-to-day operations, like you said. Personally, I also wear many hats. I just kept it simple, like producer, project manager, because that was my primary. Those were my primary roles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we actually do a bit of the writing, and of course, someone has to do some social media stuff. So I also handle some of that. So yeah, we actually have a lot of roles in the team.
That's we have a lot in common. That's actually pretty awesome because like Flo Hugger, she's the creative director at Lv1, but she also does a lot of writing. She does editing. She does video stuff. Like, so that's awesome. Like you in these positions and you're making things happen, but you also wear a lot of hats. Like, so that's awesome to hear that you guys are really like knee deep and involved in your game, and that kind of leads me to my first question. And Steven, I would like to ask you, like, for the people who maybe haven't heard about the game or played the demo or read my article, what is Volunteer the Ascension? What is this game?
Well, Volunteer was based from two genre of games. So it's a combination of JRPG classic game, which I really love, and the game when I grew up, like playing Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, so like Suikoden, and also Metroidvania game. So it's a combination of Super Metroid and Castlevania, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of this game is we want to innovate something really fresh for Metroidvania fans. So yeah, it's more like we want to change something different formula for the Metroidvania. So it's a matchup of I know already Metroidvanias have already JRPG additions, but on this take, we wanted to do something that's really different and come up with a new game feel and new experience playing Metroidvania. So yeah, it's a high epic fantasy game. So we come up in a our own world, so nothing historically connected. So yeah, so that's basically the game.
And that is one thing that I noticed is that it does have more of a JRPG feel to it and about the game than most Metroidvania games, because you have that character progression throughout the title, and that is another thing that I was hoping that we had to look into, because I know you get the three characters to start off in the demo, and actually Farron pointed out to me about that. Actually, going to be 22 other characters that you can get throughout the game, which I thought was awesome. So that sort of leads me to a question about that. When it comes to being able to go and progress throughout the game and the map we saw, which is huge, by the way.
It's huge.
Those
God.
will those 22 characters be like you're at a certain section you can only use those, or will it be you can be able to swap those out at any time once you've unlocked them?
Well,
Yeah.
the fate. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Yep. The 22 fated bonds that you have to find throughout the world. Yep. The demo showed that you can have up to three of them at a time.
Mm-hmm.
We presented three, and actually we presented five fated bonds in the demo, but you could only have three of them at a time. Yes, the intention is in the full game, you get to choose which three of them you bring with you at the time. But there are some of them, there are some fated bonds who don't follow that rule. So I'll just say there are 22 fated bonds you have to find, and that you can bring a number with them with you and change your party members as the game progresses.
I'm excited. How do you guys stand out in because Metroidvania is like the new, I mean, Metroidvania has been popular for a while, but how do you stand out? Because there's so many Metroidvania style games coming out right now.
For the Metroidvania genre, we actually really studied the market, and we know it's really big, a lot of big competition since Hollow Knight Hollow Knight title. It's we know it's really big, but the good thing about the Metroidvania market is it already have fans. So it's for us. What we really want to do is just to make a new experience for the Metroidvania fans. Since what we currently see uh, on the Metroidvania, it's all the same, more on battle progression, but don't have a story. So what we wanted for this game is more on focus on story. So yeah, it's a balance of platforming, a story. So yeah, also the map and the party system. I think that's make us really different from other Metroidvania.
Also, to add on that, yes, to be a little more specific, the fated bond system is one of the things we're trying to make unique. So most of the time in Metroidvanias, they tend to have the character as the focus. So it's a character who gets the new skills. It's a character who gets the new weapons. It's the character who gets all these new abilities. So the Fated Bonds kind of changes up that formula because you actually have a party to manage. Uh, there's also it's not this is where the JRPG aspect comes in because it's not purely yeah, okay, you have these party members who give you abilities, but you also have to manage your party members, having a specific combination of them because some of them have relations and some of them have preferences. Like some of them work better with each other because they're all entertainers. Like in the demo, they all had this thing called a unity attack because three of them mesh well. They have a history together. They have this special ability that only three of them can do together. So bringing party members who mesh well together unlock certain abilities like that. Uh, you can also power up your party members by bringing them with you. If you want to make them stronger, you bring them more often. You bring them to more fights. You finish quests with them. They gain newer abilities. They become stronger. Actually, they each have like one. They usually have like one unique ability tied to them, but you can make that ability stronger by actually bringing them with you. And it's like it actually has some social aspects to it. It's not a purely XP. XP become stronger, get XP, kill monsters, become stronger. Because these guys have their own stories also. Like uh, we gave a taste of it in the demo, but each of these guys they have their own agenda. Like Tristan is a bard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he plays an instrument. Um, One of the things I'll be very vague, but one of the plans we have in the main game is you need to actually help him you need to actually help him find a part for an instrument, and that becomes his kind of sub story. And helping him with his own thing also gives him more abilities, makes him trust Hira more, and that trust with Hira actually plays into what kind of abilities you can get with Hira. Because the 22 fated bonds, it's literally like the bonds with them that allow Hira to unlock his abilities, which we showed with the ascensions in the game. So
And that you kind of ran perfectly into what I was going to ask. I thought it was really interesting because we know Hera is the main protagonist of the game, and I was wondering if the any of the Fated Bonds would have any sub stories, and if you just confirmed that, which I think is awesome. And I think going back to what Farron was saying, that does make the game stick out. It's not just a regular run of the mill Metrovania game. Like that's actual more to the story besides of what's just happening with the main protagonist and those relationships. That's like very interesting to me. Like I love hearing that, and it just makes me even more want to play the game because there's a lot more to what's going on than what's on the surface, which is what you get for the main part for most Metroidvania games.
Yeah. We also I want to add up also the uniqueness of our level design. So we actually do have two types of path. One is the normal Metroidvania where you need keys and locks, so you need skills to progress. And the other ones we call it Hunter's Way, when you can go directly to the final boss. So it's more like we're giving a open world and Metroidvania feel vibe of map, but doing the straightforward going to the boss, it will be like a more for the players who are into more battle, who wants to do fight and hard mode type of players.
Yeah, I know a few people like that.
yeah, we wanted to, because one of the descriptors we had for the project was open world. So one thing in most classic Metroidvania, and it's not their fault, there's a sort of linearity to it. You have to unlock this ability so you can access this new area. This new area has another ability which you unlock, which unlocks another area which you previously encountered. Even though it's like there's this exploration aspect, it's very linear. Like you need this to get to this point. You need ability A to get to point one. You need to get to point one to get ability B, which allows you to get to point two. That's
Yep.
the traditional lock and key Metroidvania design. So what Sir Stephen was saying was we offered a different kind of path. So we offered the original like lock and key system, and we offer an alternate system which is more challenging. And there are actually conditions so you can go through that path, which is a very battle heavy path and really will test your like combat and platforming capabilities. And we just want that sort of freedom. It's not like you have to get this ability. The proper way to get to point A is to get ability 1. So there's actually many ways to get to point A. On top of that, and this is also new information that basically I'll just explain it. So the locks and keys were in the game. They're not presented in a linear fashion. You can actually get certain keys first before others, and that can change depending on where on the map you go. So one of our inspirations, if it's okay to talk about another indie game, Hollow Knight actually did a bit of this. Like you can actually get certain abilities first, and you can actually skip out on certain abilities to finish the game, right? So we have something like that as well. But I dare to say ours is a bit more freeform. The system we have in mind is a bit more freeform, because in Hollow Knight and other games like Hollow Knight, you had to get to certain areas to get those keys. Here we didn't we didn't strictly tie the keys to areas you need to access. So it's a bit more freeform in what keys you get to access, what abilities you get to access, and what new areas you can unlock with those abilities.
How do you prevent people from getting stuck? Because I know some people are going to get stuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
What we intend to do is our level design. Yeah, it's a bit. It sounds a bit like. It sounds a bit. How do you explain it? It sounds a bit like. It sounds a bit too freeform, right, for this genre, right?
Yeah.
So what we did was there's actually this first area of the game where if you really explore it and do everything there, really find the 22 bonds. So that's the clue. You can get all the abilities you need to explore the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a clue behind how our lock and key system will work.
Also, we have this inspiration from the Breath of the Wild, where in Breath of the Wild, you already have all your skills that you need, so you can go anywhere in the world. So we have that kind of mechanics where we have this one linear way on the first area when you get this specific skill, and that open the worlds, and you can wherever choose where to go and meet bonds. And actually meeting bonds, you get a trust point, and you can actually use the trust point, and you can choose which ascension skills. So unlocking specific ascension skills will unlock an area that is specific for that. So yeah, it's really up to the player.
So you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Got you see some of this in the demo. The system Stephen was talking about was actually in the demo, where meeting a fated bond gives a trust point, which in turn allows you to get an ascension, which in turn allows you to progress, because there are areas you can't access without the ascension. So we're going to apply that system will be applied in the main game, but it's going to be a lot more freeform. It's not going to be like the demo was designed to be linear, by the way. So so it was really like curated, like, oh, this guy will have to pass through here and like that. So in the main game, that'll be our job to make sure people don't get stuck. Right now we're just telling. We'll have to show it in the future, I guess. That's what I think.
Yeah. Also, we just want to make sure that the player who played demo, that the demo will be not in the game. Or we're going to actually use some part of the level design, but it won't be the same in the main game. So just to
Gotcha.
be clear, since other players thought that we're going to build up on that demo, but no, it's only made for the just to show you some of the mechanics of the game.
That's got to be so much work to create a separate demo, because a lot of them are just the beginning half of the game, and then looking at Outriders recently is the last demo before your guys' that I played, and it was just the beginning opening of the game. Man, to create a whole new section, that's a lot of work.
That's true.
We tried to. Well, to be honest, we needed to have the demo we. The demo we presented had our core mechanics already, and we really wanted to test the waters. Like, okay, these are the core mechanics we're trying to. These are the core mechanics we're gonna try and do. Let's see if people like them. Then came the actual demo level, but we were one of our design objectives was to try and get as much of the core mechanics in the demo as possible, so that people have a idea of, oh, this is what we're trying to achieve. These are the abilities you'll have access to. Of course, we couldn't put everything in there, but the core mechanics, the traversal, the way bonds work, we tried to get that in. But we're still not. That's still not all of the abilities we have in demo. If you played till the end, there was actually a teaser we put there, and that ability is gonna be in the main game too. That's gonna be one of Hira's core abilities in the main game.
Wait.
So yeah, so I guess your viewers should play the demo to see what we're
They
talking.
really should.
Yeah.
Yes, we're definitely going to have the Steam link in the description everywhere. But I know you guys touched on it a little bit, and I kind of want to bring it up. What were some of your inspirations for this title? I know you guys touched on the Breath of the Wild. But there any games that you guys may have played, or anything that was like really helped you as far as being an inspiration to create Volunteer, to create Hira? What are your inspirations for this title?
For me, like I said, JRPG classic like Suikoden, Breath of Fire, also Valkyrie Profile. So as you can see, those games have this other characters beside the main character. So that's why we have the 22 Fated Bonds. Also, yeah, for the Metroidvania, Ori, also Bastion as for the art style. They thought that the art styles came from the Ori, but no, it's more on the Bastion, Super Giant style game. It's one of our favorite indie. Yeah, and basically that's it. Hollow Knight also is one of the main inspiration for the level design and lore. Right?
Do you get a lot of comparisons from Ori?
No, actually, more. Yeah. For the Ori, for the art style, yes.
I would, Fame, you probably agree with me on this. Is I would maybe less Ori and more of Greek.
Yes. Greek is another Metrovania game. I think the developers are down in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, and
South America.
America, yeah. And yes, I do see that. That is a better comparison than Ori, in my opinion. You're right.
Both beautiful
also got
and drawn.
For Wakfu or for the character design, Wakfu and Dust. So basically those games.
Okay. You guys have been telling us so much behind the scenes. Like, there's more complex mechanics at work. How do you prevent, feature blow, so many powers that people aren't going to use, or powers that they're going to forget? How do you prevent just losing your mind in all that kind of development?
Yeah, for that, we just focus on one weapon, so we don't have equip rather than we have this upgrading skills. So it's more like building a new move set rather than changing different weapons. So we decided to go on those paths just to make the battle really fresh every time.
For feature bloat, the question being the feature bloat. Um, yeah, it's a we've been told it's a very common indie problem,
Yeah.
and this isn't my first game, so yeah, feature bloat. I can understand where that's coming from. I'll just say that with Hero, we kind of already put everything we wanted on the table, and then it was a matter of cutting out or limiting. Actually, the better word is like, how would this work in the game actually when we already have this other feature? It was like actually keeping what was needed. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
we want, hey, let's put everything we want on the table, but then now we're like, okay, this is the system. These are the systems we actually would be core to our game. These would be the systems that we want to have in the game and would work with our core features. So it's more of we put everything we want and then we're becoming smaller. We're cutting down because I think feature bloat really happens when you limit yourself. Then you realize, hey, maybe I should add more of this, and that's actually where the feature bloat. So what we tried to do was try to get everything out there, and then the feasibility comes after that. So, but yes, I'll say Volunteer is very ambitious. There's a lot of stuff we planned for the game, like 22 fated bonds. That's a lot of unique skills. That's a lot of
Yes.
unique skills,
Yeah.
and then a lot of combinations that you can have with a character. Uh, we have we have the seven ascensions which were in the demo, uh, and yeah, the demo was like a sped up version, like trying to feature all the ascensions. But of course, our actual map will be way bigger, so it won't be obvious which ascension solves which area at first if you're a new player.
Mhm.
And of course, there's that entire that ability you run at the demo, and then he has combat skills. So we're really just putting all the cool things we like, and then we're seeing what will work, what doesn't work, what's actually out of our reach, and we're working from there. That's our actual outward in. How
Yeah.
would you say that? Yeah, outward in basically.
So I have a question.
Oh no.
The flying squirrels. Okay. Who decided to make the flying squirrel? Because I swear they're laughing at you as they're dropping off whatever's hurting you. The fly. Who does someone have a bad childhood with the squirrel? Like, what is going on with these flying squirrels? Like, who created the fly? What is happening? Because those things are frustrating to a team. Like not like they're necessarily difficult, but the fact that they're just like going by ha. Here's some poop or whatever it is that's falling on you. Like I think they're a very interesting enemy. I'm just wondering like who had a bad childhood with the squirrel and decided to make it a enemy in the game.
I'll just say it was a team effort. It was a team effort. I guess the flying squirrel was like an annoying enemy mechanics wise, and then our sound engineer decided to add the mocking laugh to add the cherry on top. But we didn't intend for it to be that memorable. Okay.
Oh yeah, I think anyone who plays this game, they're gonna remember the flying squirrels because especially when you jump and you miss it and you don't get the aerial attack and then it moves over and it laughs again. You're like, gosh. Like I love squirrels. Now I despise squirrels. I just want to let you know that I no longer like squirrels. They should never get wings. Just want to let you know.
Oh, those were
Yeah,
pretty annoying. So
lots of players get annoyed.
It's actually the first time I've heard of the flying squirrels. Like more players actually remembered the goat.
The
more.
goat. Mm-hmm.
oh, those were annoying too. But those squirrels. Oof.
Yeah,
The squirrels. Yeah, that's the first time.
Yeah, the Go.
That's interesting.
The Go, I didn't have any issue with the Go. Charge it up, boom, knock it out, and then but the squirrels, man, like every 2 seconds, it's like, like it is. Ah, the squirrels, the squirrels. I might have like nightmares about the freaking flying squirrels.
We're glad to know our enemies were effective.
Yes.
We're glad to know our enemies are hateable.
Yes,
So, yes.
I hate those squirrels so much.
Do you can you tell us? Well, we know it's going to be on Steam, but is there any other platforms it's going to be on?
Yep, we intend to release to consoles if our Steam release goes well. And it's not just on Steam. We're looking at other PC platforms to release on. So one of the things for sure, people are asking us, GOG.com. We're eyeing stuff like the Epic Games platform, but we're still seeing how that'll work. And of course, for consoles. We heard Nintendo, and we observed Nintendo has a big like indie. They're really big at getting indies to get on their Switch. So we're also looking at that. Of course, we'll also aim for PS4 or PS5 if that opportunity is available, and Xbox. Right now, it's a bit early, but yeah, we have our goals. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, because first thing and maybe just because it's the Metrovania, I instantly was like, oh, I would love to play this on my Switch while I'm sitting on my couch. And I think the demo, you guys said at the beginning of the demo, it's made not necessarily made for controller, but it plays best with the controller.
Yep.
And so I think console players, even I know PC guys can use a controller for the PC. That's how we played it, but I think they would definitely latch onto this just because on the Switch. Nothing other consoles want, but I think the Switch, man, it just seems so perfect for indie titles and Metrovania style games. Like for example, I was happy when I played Ori on the Xbox, but then when it got to the Switch, I'm like, yeah, because it's somehow those games seem to be perfect for that platform. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you guys' roadmap as far as when you're able to get it out on console.
Yep, we'll try to update that as soon as possible. But the general idea is after we release on Steam, and we have a tentative date, which is 2023. So it'll be after 2023. That's the minimum.
Do you guys plan on doing anything else as far as demos go, or anything like that, or just updating on your website? Maybe things you guys are doing with the game. And more. I know you guys are doing developer blogs, things like that. The developer updates. Are you doing any more demos, or just you guys be updating on your site the things that are happening with the game?
Actually, our intent. Thanks for asking. We do intend to have demos, but they'll be like controlled focus group demos, which we'll be reserving for people on our newsletter and our Discord. So it'll be like a game update, but at the same time, we want our community to give us feedback on certain features we're developing. So every time we have a major milestone, we'll try to make a demo that it's a demo, but you got to give us your feedback on it, kind of demo. So like a focus group. So it won't be public like this demo we made. The public demo was really like general, hey everyone, check out this new game we're making. This is the main idea behind the game. What do you think about it? Now we'll be more focused on, okay, this is a feature we're making. Try it out. Tell me what you didn't like about it, what you liked about it, what could be improved. It's a more targeted sort of demo. So that's our intention. That's our plan, at least. And like you said, yes, we'll be updating the website. We'll be updating our social medias, and we're actually pretty active on Twitter. Like every new thing we do, we post on Twitter. So some people actually mistake our works in progress for like full full animation updates. So we have to explain. Oh, those things are like warframes. We're actually just showing off the pose if the pose is okay. So that's not how hero will actually look in the final work. So yeah, we just wanna we're just trying to, I guess, be transparent with our community. I guess that's what we're trying to do as much as possible, and also collecting as much feedback as we can as we progress through development.
We we talked about this a bit before. You guys asked us if we played the demo, and we say yes. And we talked a little bit before the stream that there was a part that we both got stuck on.
No!
And so we doing it was the part where the stones. It was toward the end of the demo. The stones were coming down. So you get past the stones that are coming down, no problem. Breeze, like a breeze. It's the going up part that I have myself recorded. I died at least 15 times.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys heard anything about players like having issue going up from those stones crushing sideways? Or is it just us? Are we just terrible gamers?
Actually, that is no. Don't worry. That is actually a common. People were having problems with that part, and I think it was tied to the fact that the stones were instant kill things. They weren't like at least the squirrels like dealt minimal damage, right?
Yeah.
They didn't kill you outright, right? So the stones were actually a point of, a point of frustration for a lot of players, because if you made a mistake, you had to go all the way back to the respawn point. And yeah, the upward part is not very obvious and actually requires a bit of skill.
Yes.
Even though you have wall grab, you have to know that you have to jump off. You can't stay there.
Yes.
So, and I found out actually, I actually found this out. I thought there was only one way to clear that part, but people were telling me there's like, you have a lot of tools at your disposal to get past that. So one of the things that even surprised me, and I'm the producer, okay, was that you can just do the charge jump and clear that entire area. Yeah, you just have to do a full charge jump. Yeah, and then you'll get on top. And I was like, what? I thought you just had to do some tricky platform wall grab thing. And that's what I did. And actually, that wasn't like 100% effective. I also would die a few times, but after playing it over and over, I kind of got the rhythm right. So yeah, that is a common. Don't worry, it's not just you guys. It's actually pretty tricky. It's a bit difficult. But yeah, we actually have several tools for you to clear that, and some of those were pretty. I was surprised. Like, yeah, charge jump would clear that easily.
Because we both walked away from the game. We're like, you know what? I gotta put this controller down because we're never gonna finish this demo. Because I'm gonna play that clip here doing this, but I died at least 15 times, like trying to go up there.
I was finally playing Cuphead again for a second. I was like, is this Cuphead? Why is this so hard? Can I not play video games anymore?
That's good to know. When you finally get up there, you're like, oh yes, like I feel accomplished. But then you're like, wow, like I've been gaming all my life, and I know to get up there, jump attach, jump off. But my brain, just like my brain in my mouth, my brain in my hands, couldn't fathom why I was not. I even tried. I thought, well, maybe if I call out Tristan, and he'll help me. But no, it's still insta kill. So it was, yeah. It wasn't my funnest part.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah. We actually thought the level design was too easy, so we added the rocket kill just to frustrate
two different people. Some people were like, people have a problem? Some guys on the team were like that, so I was like, no, this actually is pretty tough. It's not obvious.
Tough. It's tough.
So two different people, I guess. Two different kinds of people.
It had me wondering, I'm like, is this the final boss? Is this where I die?
It's the stone, the final boss of
the real final boss.
Like, the only thing that left was like this mecha-sized flying squirrel just to come through and finish me off at the end. I waited on, like, if you guys haven't, we need a giant mecha flying squirrel in the game just to.
Please God.
It's just to kind of round everything out. Those squirrels,
And I will
man.
just distort the laughing noise to
Yeah.
make it
No,
like
don't give them ideas.
Like when you die, you should have to have a flying squirrel come by and laugh before you go back. Like, oh, yeah. So,
You actually gave me an idea.
He wrote something down.
I saw
What needs to be done?
that. He's gonna fully lean into this flying squirrel, man. He's gonna have so many Twitter posts about this flying squirrel.
No.
Jeez.
Oh,
So I do want to
um,
ask, and this question is for both of you guys. If you had to talk to someone who hadn't played, maybe they hadn't played the game, and you wanted to, or you want to leave them with a final impression after you talked to them about the game, like what final impression would you want your game to leave on people? Like, what do you want them to take from it?
Well, the demo didn't get the justice that we wanted the player to feel.
Yeah.
Since it's very linear and very the mechanics of the just getting the core mechanics. Um, at this point, we just wanna show that we made this demo, and it is just to make sure that people that we are capable of making a game since this is our first IP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the only purpose of that, and just learning. It's more like a learning experience for us, and to see the reaction if people love the style and the mechanics of the game. So we didn't actually expect people to know to think beyond more than that.
well, for me on my end, going to the question, if someone plays this game, hasn't played the demo, just wants to get the final impression, I'd like to leave the impression that the game is very artistic, very well animated, because that seems to be one of our strengths on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter. And of course, we also want to drive home the fact that we are trying to be a JRPG Metroidvania at the same time. So it's gonna be a lot different from your usual Metroidvania, especially with the different characters you'll be um, interacting with and improving, basically. Yeah, because they're also gonna grow with you, so you also have to manage that. So it's gonna be a different kind of Metroidvania. We actually have other systems tied very similar to RPG games mentioned by Stephen earlier, like building up your own base in a Metroidvania. You're building up your own base, so we have that kind of system. There's really this entire uh, feel of trying to gather people to join you on your journey, and yeah, building up your base, building up your team, building up your party. So, but like Stephen said, yeah, the demo isn't able to completely show what we fully intend.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, it's because we really have big plans. We really have big plans, and we just wanted to see what people thought of the art, uh, the core mechanics, the direction we were going with. So I'd at least like I would like it if people had a good impression of our art at least, and some of the ideas at play with the demo. So that's what all we're hoping for.
so you touched on my favorite part is the art, and I've watched the animation. I've watched your guys' work in progress. How long does it take? Because your animation is so fluid and everything is so beautiful. How long does it take to make the main characters animate? The Unity skills. How long does it take to just do a basic animation for you guys?
A
For
lot.
here, yeah, for here,
It
uh,
takes
yeah, of making and trial and error. Um, but for here's timeline alone, I think it took him, I think 3 months to design his concept. Like on our team here, we had this say competition going on. We try to um, do a character concept. So, well, that's the fun part. But for the animation, this is one of our strength, but this is also one of the longest things to do. Especially we're trying to make everything's 2D, especially the FX. You can see it's all 2D. So yeah, it's pretty long to do. The demo itself, it took I think 1 year, Paulo, right? It took us 1 year to do the demo alone. But doing the demo, come up with the making all the core that we needed for the main game, so it will be faster now.
Yes. CMD Studios was actually like they were a very they're an art. Their specialty really is art. They make art for clients and many other games. Before we did here, it was really their specialty. They make art, they make animation, and I'll say our art team is really good. Like when I joined this project, I was actually blown away by the art. That's what made me say, okay, let's do this. Let's create this game. So uh, the animation for here, yeah, like you said, it almost took us 1 year for the demo, but uh, that was like from line art. We had to color everything. Hero was like he wasn't even a walking sprite. He wasn't even a proper walking sprite yet by that time. So uh, yeah, I'll just say it takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that. It depends on the animation, especially that Unity attack. That took our entire like team. We're a small team, but we have multiple animators,
Mm-hmm.
so it took our entire team to do that, and it took 3 weeks minimum to do the animation for the Unity attack. Okay, so that's like in Final Fantasy. That's like the summon attack. That's like one of the big
Mm-hmm.
summon attacks. That's our equivalent of that. So Hira himself is really a product of love. So uh, Stephen said like 1 year, but we're still working on him. And you can follow us on Twitter. You can see what we're doing. And there's still some stuff for Hira. And of course, the flying squirrels were also lovingly animated. Lovingly animated. So uh, yeah, it could go anywhere from a week. Uh, Usually, our measurement is like weeks. That's our mode of measurement. Like, if it's one ability, one move, it's like a week. If it's a more complex move, it could take several weeks. So,
Well, it's
this, huh?
also it's definitely appreciated because most people, including myself, when I first came across the game, the first thing I noticed was the how beautiful the game looked, how well it was animated. So
Yeah,
I do want to say it is appreciated. I know it's a lot of hard work, and even the
thank you.
people when I wrote an article about how the game looks stunning, and it was one of the most popular articles on N4G, which is an aggregate site. And people were
Yeah.
messaging me all saying the same thing, like this game looks amazing. So I know it takes a lot for you guys to do, but I mean, it's from someone who at his heart is a gamer before I'm a journalist. It's appreciated. It really is.
Well, we're really glad. We're really glad. We're really thankful for that. We can see that people are appreciating it, and we're really thankful to the people who um, comment on our Twitter whenever we say, "Hey, we're doing this. What do you think about this? Is this okay?" So when people actually give their feedback, it really helps us because it gets to the animation team, and it really helps us make our decisions as well. We really take feedback from our community seriously. We actually posted something like yesterday, like an update. Like people were saying that I know you were praising our animation, but people were saying some animations the poses were a bit off, like for the charge jump. We actually responded to that. We actually tried to make a new animation for that, just so it looks more like the Shoryuken was the Shoryuken.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I see. Yeah. So, yep. Animation is our strong point, but it's also where most of our effort. It's really like where a lot of the effort and a lot of the development time also is spent. So We're glad it comes across well.
Okay. All right.
Beautiful.
Uh,
I
what?
think you're right. Fame is the hand-drawn, the beautiful art styles, one of those things that you just immediately notice. And this isn't a knock on pixel games because I grew up playing pixel games. I love pixel games. But if this was just another pixel art style, I think it wouldn't be as loved as it should be. Because it would just blend into the background. There's tons of pixel Metroidvania games coming out in the next few months, in the next few years. So this hand-drawn, lovingly done art style will always be like special to me.
Yeah, it's also there are only few people who do this 2D traditional. Like the last game I saw do traditional is Indivisible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love that game.
Then yeah, in Metroidvania, some are or most likely pixel art, which is lovely. But yeah, there's no much 2D traditional for Metroidvania.
Listen, Paulo, Steven, I want to thank you guys. So, number one, for coming on and speaking with us. It was an absolute pleasure. And number two, it's almost midnight your time. So, I know at some point you want to close your eyes and go to sleep. So, we appreciate you guys doing it at this time. Most people would have been like, no, sir. But you guys took the time out of your nights to come and speak with us and talk with us. And we're going to continue to write about this game, and we can't wait to be able to play more of it. We'll be there. 2023 is what you're aiming for, correct?
Yeah, right. We're aiming for, that's our tentative date. That's 2023.
We plan on being there 2023, God willing. We're still alive and kicking. 'Cause I can't wait to play more of this game and to be traumatized by the flying squirrel. Just want to let you know.
We'll make sure to include that mecha squirrel.
No.
We'll make sure to include that. Thank you for your feedback. We'll note it.
Hugger,
You done?
anything before I end the stream, Hugger?
It's not a stream, it's a video, but thank you guys again. It's late. You want to go to sleep. You have your families. Thank you for just taking time to talk to us, and I can't wait to see the progression of this game. I'm on Twitter. I'm following you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys are gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, guys. We're very blessed that in this early stage, you guys think of the game. So yeah, we're really appreciative of the community that we have. Also, they're really helpful developing this game. So yeah, hopefully we can deliver your expectation and bring up a new experience for the community.
Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Thanks. Yeah, I know. I know it's pretty late. But we just couldn't say no. You know, if people want to know more about the game, we were like, oh yeah, we'll tell you about it. It's like it's fine if it's like 11 p.m. So we just happen to have a good open time right now. So, but you know, if people want to know about our game, yeah, we'll just talk about it. We'll be open for that.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out with us once again. And I hope you guys go and check out Falling to the Ascension. The descriptions of everything you need to know, everything you want to play more of, or as far as the demo goes, and learn more about the title, it will be in the description of the video down below. I will also link it in the article at lv1gaming.com. If you're listening on Apple iTunes or Spotify, anything like that, please go over to our YouTube channel or to lv1gaming.com. That's lv1gaming.com. All the information about Falling to the Ascension will be down there for you guys to check out. Everyone have a wonderful night. We're out.
Bye, guys.